Hello, hello, my darling sweet friend. And welcome to this beautiful video by Braveheart Open Mind. I am so delighted for us to be spending our time together because the topic for today's video is so close to my heart. Ah, so we are introducing the topic of the magic and methodology of finding yourself again after an emotionally abusive relationship. And that sounds like a heavy topic because it is. As a human who has experienced emotional abuse and an incident of physical abuse inside of a romantic relationship, it is in many ways, a long road towards finding yourself again. Because when you are emotionally abused, you are taught in so many ways who not to be and required in so many ways to conform to what your abuser asks of you or demands of you. And I know you know this. If you are tuning into this video as a human who is looking to find herself again after an abusive relationship, I know that you know. We don't need to spend so much time talking about it because what we are here to talk about is the exciting part, the finding yourself again part. And I know that right now it might not sound exciting. It probably seems overwhelming and quite daunting, and that's okay. That's honest. It's how I felt when I began my journey. And I can say so firmly and excitedly that now that I have found myself again to a degree that I get to celebrate myself and love myself every single freaking day. Your journey that you are engaging on or embarking on or continuing to be on is so exciting when you get to the end result of knowing who you are and why you are the way that you are, and empowered in choosing who you get to be and the dreams that you get to have for yourself and the possibilities that you get to hold for yourself. All of that is on the other side of finding yourself again. And in fact, this video here specifically is going to address why finding yourself after an emotionally abusive relationship is the most important thing that you could do for yourself on the other side of exiting that traumatic situation. Because it could be so temptingly easy to let some of those old ways of being that you were told to do or required to do still stand in smaller, large ways. And if you don't choose to reclaim yourself, to find yourself again, to declare yourself as your home, then it's so easy to continue being this echo of yourself. Because once you have been heated and bent and cooled into this crumpled version of yourself that someone else tempered you to be. It's a process to unbend or to recreate or to return or to awaken those parts of you that you had to dampen down for your abuser or hide or tuck away or tell yourself you couldn't access anymore. And recovering those things and allowing yourself to be all of who you are is so beautifully important, because on the other side of choosing to find a home within yourself, on the other side are your dreams and your desires and your possibilities and everything that you are capable of. And that I find wildly fucking exciting. So exciting! So juicy and so good. Because you, my love, if you haven't heard it lately, are chock full of possibilities and inner magic and goodness that is so delightful. It radiates from you. And it's okay if it feels like you don't have access to that yet. That is part of what we're here to talk about. And in this first video, we're discussing why it's important to find yourself again. And in the next video, we'll talk about what finding yourself again looks like. And then we'll talk about how to go through that process of finding yourself. And we'll imagine together other ways in which you can go about coming home to yourself, rediscovering who you are, which is so exciting and so liberating. Maybe that's why freedom is one of my top values, if that makes sense, right? After being in an emotionally abusive relationship where everything feels controlled and tight and unpermissive, freedom sounds delicious. Expressing yourself almost sounds taboo, or perhaps, depending on your trauma, sounds so deeply taboo. And that is what we are here to talk about, unleashing or unlocking for yourself. And if you haven't met me yet, I'm Kayla Vavra, and I am a self-love coach. I am an emotional alchemy facilitator. I work with energy, and I work with the mind, and I work with the body. So we get a full, beautiful experience of mind, body, spirit alignment, which feels so good and so lovely. And I'm also a poet, so if you hear poetical language, or if you see me post a poem, I am also that too. Because when you get to find yourself again, you get to be all of who you are, bit by bit, as you excavate and unearth all of your different magnitudes and facets and gloriously shiny ways of being. And that's so good once you get there. I hope I'm really selling it to you on this process or devotion to finding yourself again, because it's been the work of a decade for me. I'm going to take a drink of water quick. Gotta hydrate. It's been the work of over a decade for me to be where I am now. And the things that I've learned in just even the last 9 months are so dramatically helpful in transforming who you get to be for yourself and how you get to be for yourself. And if I can shrink over a decade of healing into a shorter time frame for you because of what I know now, then my life's work will be complete, because you deserve to live your fullest expression of your life. You deserve to find worthiness in yourself, to love yourself intimately, and to be able to behave in ways that you admire and enjoy. Because it can be really easy after being in an abusive situation to continue perpetuating those patterns, those behaviors in your daily life, in your next relationship, in the relationship after that. I was in 2 emotionally abusive relationships, the second of which also had an incident of physical abuse. And I would never have been primed to enter that second relationship without letting that first one determine my behavior, right? Determine who I thought I was and what I thought I was good enough for. And you, my love, you get to believe that you are worthy of anything that you can hold or dream of or create. You get to believe that. And it perhaps sounds a little bit hard or a little bit out of reach. And that is what I am here for, to light up the path for you to find your way home to yourself again. So if you love the path that I am lighting up, I invite you to follow. All I can do is lead and light up with my own experience and with the trainings that I've gone through as a coach, and invite you to look at your healing holistically. I invite you to look at other modalities of healing that aren't just what I am presenting to you, because there's a whole world of support out there, from things like therapy or finding a licensed social worker or counselor who can help you to navigate these things. There are modalities like Kundalini yoga that I'm not certified in, but can be very helpful in helping you to connect with yourself. So I'll be presenting ideas and also inviting you to look at other things along the way, because you deserve every single opportunity to find yourself and love yourself with your whole freaking heart. And if you don't feel that resonate within you yet, that's what I'm here to help you with. Being a self-love coach is one of the joys of my life, and using that to help you find yourself again after an emotionally abusive relationship is definitively the honor of my life. So I invite you to follow on this beautiful path. Let me pop over to my notes and look to see if I have said everything that I wanted to say about why it's so profoundly important to make that foundation of home within yourself. I imagine you already know how important it is to have a sense of self-reliance, or maybe you don't. That, if I'm remembering back correctly, I didn't know that. I didn't know, so I will not assume that you already know. We'll talk about it real quick, because that idea of making yourself home, making yourself complete, independent of what anyone else can say or do or mean to you, is so important. Because if you imagine for a moment a world in which everything you loved disappeared, if you are not already home to yourself, good to yourself, loving to yourself, that outlook can look so bleak. And I know from being in your shoes or similar shoes that when you've been belittled day after day or told that your viewpoint is not good enough or correct enough, it can be hard to love yourself. And retraining or reawakening that self-love is one of the most important things that you could do. Because awakening your self-love allows you to be fully independent, fully free, and fully embodied in expressing all of yourself to her fullest degree. And you'll notice me using the pronouns she and her because those are the pronouns that are applicable to me. But all humans with all pronouns are welcome here. And you'll also notice that I engage in pronouns that imply that I was in a heterosexual relationship, which I was. And also, all relationship dynamics are welcome here, all experiences. I can't know everything for everyone. I can only speak from what my perspective is and speak based on the teachings that I have learned and can pass on. And so from that, I urge you so deliciously to devote to finding yourself again and again, small step by small step or large step by large step. However your journey unfolds for you is perfect. Because it is a journey, it is a process. We'll talk more about that in the next video. Let me pop back over to my notes. Oh, okay. I also wanted to say that it's so important to connect with yourself, to discover your intuition and your dreams, because you cannot fully dream on an empty perception of yourself that is based on someone else's poison or lies about you or presumptions about what's possible for you. When you are still operating in that framework, you can't have full access to what your dreams are and what your desires are and what you deeply, sweetly in your soul hold as a possibility for yourself. And your dreams are so important. They're such a gift, and you deserve to have access to them. You deserve to be able to make them come true, to love yourself so much that you just know deep in your heart what the right thing is to do, and then to do it and feel excited for it and perhaps afraid of it. Fear doesn't go away. We just learn how to be in more compassionate relationship with our fear. This is going to be such a delicious journey. I'm excited to teach you and show you all of the things. But those are for future videos. I can't word vomit it all at once, because that would be, that analogy of like not giving people a fire hose of information, right? Not just like blasting them. I don't want to blast you. I want to walk peacefully with you, as peacefully as possible, through healing those traumatic experiences, and coming home to who you are on the other side, who you are internally, deep inside yourself, that you've had to protect and to hold for so long. We get to help her come out now, and that's really exciting. I mentioned being able to reconnect to your intuition, and I want to talk about that for a moment, because reconnecting to your intuition is one of the greatest gifts that you can give to yourself. Because learning to trust yourself again can feel a little rocky. Maybe, like me, you had thoughts or have thoughts in your mind like, you let yourself get abused. How do you think you could ever do XYZ things? Or you're not worthy of feeling good about yourself again because you let yourself get abused. I had that mentality for quite a while, bringing myself down, almost like repeating that same emotional abuse, but towards myself, right? Because we get so ingrained in someone else treating us that way that it becomes easy to treat ourselves that way too. And when we devote ourselves to finding all of us, excuse me, we encounter those thoughts like that, and they can sound pretty dark and pretty sad. We don't want to think about ourselves that way. And also, it is normal that your mind is perpetuating that cycle, because the mind is very habitual. And if we can lovingly devote to showing it a new way of being by discovering ourselves and getting in touch with who we desire to be, then we can guide it back into a pattern before the emotional abuse, or even better, guide it to a new pattern that uses all of the things that you learned from this trauma and who you were prior, and using all of that life experience to decide who you want to be and how you get to be on the other side of that. And it's a big choice. You can totally not learn something from your experience. That is not how I chose to approach my situation. And I'm not leveling judgment at anyone who chooses that. I simply encourage from my perspective and based on my story, to learn and to alchemize those learnings, turning that lead into gold, right? Because emotional abuse is some freaking lead, if you ask me. And being able to alchemize or transform into the gold of who you get to be on the other side is so freaking exciting. So delicious. I mean, the process kind of sucks sometimes and it's painful, of course. Anytime that you are doing deep healing, you have that duality of finding joy through pain, right? We experience the pain of trauma. And when we heal from it, we experience the pain of sometimes remembering that trauma. Or in my case, sometimes my mind still won't let me remember some things that I experienced. And sometimes that feels painful because I'm like, I've done so much inner work. Aren't I ready to remember yet? I know the universe will. And my mind will help me remember when I'm ready. So there are bumps along this journey, and also it's so worth it. It's so worth it to engage in this alchemical process of not just recovering from a traumatic situation, but celebrating who you get to be now. And we'll get you there into that celebratory aspect, that mood, that vibe, that feeling. No matter how many days it takes you, or months, or years, hopefully not decades. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, to save you from having to spend that long on it. You'll get to that point where you get to celebrate who you are and love all of who you are. I want that so much for you, and I'm so excited to have the opportunity to help you find all of the nooks and crannies of who you get to be now. I'm excited for you because being and living in your fullest expression of yourself is so luscious, so good. And know that right now, wherever you are, you're already doing your best at living in your fullest expression. And when you devote to making that full expression more and more of you, it gets to expand. You get to become expansive. And I so deeply desire that you understand that you are good enough now. And you get to be more of yourself the more you devote to uncovering, unearthing, unlocking your inner magic, all of who you get to be. I can't wait for you. I love you so much already. I know that if you're watching this on YouTube, it seems like I'm just a stranger you stumbled across her YouTube video because maybe you were searching for ways to help yourself. And also, I'm sitting here in my sunny little office in Nebraska with trees outside my window and plants on my desk, loving you already. This is the first time that we're meeting, perhaps, or maybe we've met before, and I love you already. And I'm so deeply devoted to helping you find yourself again. So excited for you. Okay. All right. Okay. I feel like I feel like this is already a long video. I feel like I've hyped quite a bit. I only have, I think, 2 more points left to make. So building your self-trust again is the methodology that we are going to be using and delving more into in a future video on how to rebuild that self-trust and what that looks like for yourself. And it's your ability to choose to trust yourself in tiny or small ways at first, over and over again, that creates your ability to trust yourself again. And choosing to devote over and over again to these small or large trustings is how we can begin to feel into that embodied evidence that we get to love ourselves and be ourselves more. And we'll talk more about that in the future. I just wanted to mention it because trusting yourself is what puts you back in touch with your intuition. And being in touch with your intuition is what allows you to open doors for your dreams, for your desires, for that fullest expression of you. And I'm excited to help you build your self-trust, build your sense of self-safety, and grow your sense of self-love. It's gonna be so good. So good. I also wanted to say, this is the second thing that I wanted to say before we wrap things up for now until a future video. I wanted to let you know that your unique, energetic frequency, everything, if you didn't know, is made of energy. Our leading physicists have founded a string theory based on everything being energy and the vibrations of those energies creating this beautiful orchestra of a world that we reside in inside the multiverse of our existence. And your frequency, your energetic blueprint is the only one that looks like yours, that sounds and feels like yours, and the world needs it. The world needs your frequency. Otherwise, the orchestra won't sound the same. So I invite you to play loudly, to go full volume into being yourself. Because as you move more deeply into feeling more of you and being more of you across all frequency, in all opportunities you come across, when you can feel like you and be how you desire to be, you get to create this beautiful sense of that's the way that things are supposed to be. And when other people see you embracing your brand of magic, embracing your flavor of healing, feeling through your triumphs and joys and harmonies, it allows them to feel like they get to be the fullest expression of themselves too. And as we know so intimately, you never know what other people are going through behind the scenes, behind closed doors. So if you can show in small ways or large ways or repetitive, devoted ways that you get to express all of who you are, then other people get to see that too. And they get to be all of who they are. And the world and our society and everyone in it gets to elevate. When we can be our fullest expressions, full of joy, acting on our dreams, living our best lives, not just as a phrase that gets said on the internet, but truly, deeply, juicily living our best lives, then other people get permission to start their own unearthing, their own rediscovery, working and healing through their own traumas, whatever they may be. When you get to be a beacon for yourself, you get to be a beacon for others. And I think that that is beautiful too. Yes, finding yourself again is so good for you. And after all you've experienced, you deserve to do things for you. And also, you will have this beautiful, massive, and delicious ripple effect. As you radiate, you get to impact other people so that they can radiate more too. And I think that that is so beautiful. I will leave it at that for today, with you thinking about being able to resonate at your fullest expression. You being able to calibrate to your highest frequency so that your heart and soul, your mind and body get to resonate with that frequency of truth, of I am who I am, and I am who I'll be, and I'll always be becoming more of me. Always. You get to resonate with that frequency. And we will talk more about what that looks like and how to do it in future videos. So for now, my love, from my heart to yours, I am sending you so much love. And I hope that you have the most peaceful or beautiful day that's available to you, my love. I love you. I'll see you again soon.